Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. I'm James and you're watching Blue Dog Aquatics. Alright, today we got a couple of different things to talk about. We're going to be talking about bearded dragon care and husbandry, so stay tuned for that. Also, we are on the road to AquaShella, Dallas. Now, this year it falls on Halloween, so make sure if you come, it's in Dallas, Texas on the 30th and 31st, so make sure to bring your spookiest costume. I'll be dressing up myself, don't know yet what I will be, but I will figure something out. I always go pretty overboard and go all out with it, so we'll see what I come up with. Also, great news, we actually found a location for our storefront. We are finalizing on the paperwork. We were dealing with another location, but it just didn't suit our needs and didn't work out well for us. So we found this other location. I can't wait for it. They're doing construction on it, so it'll be about 30 to 45 days before we can even move in. But that's alright, gives us time to prep, get everything situated and all the leases signed and whatnot. So excited for that, so pumped to finally get into the new store and out of the house. So yeah, that'll be amazing for us. But without further ado, let's get into the bearded dragons. Alright guys, so today we're actually talking about bearded dragons. Yeah, so this little girl right here is a juvenile female. Her name is actually Miss Piggy. She is got so much personality and so much, she's so weird, but it's alright, I kind of like it. Now, if you don't know the difference, this is a juvenile. She is about 10 to 12 inches long, nose to tail. She's just a standard morph. And then over here we actually have an adult female. She is a zero morph. She's actually pregnant right now. She's gonna be dropping a couple of clutches of eggs here within the next couple of weeks, so we're really excited for that. We actually picked her up and didn't expect to breed her or anything like that, and the guy's like, well, she might be pregnant. I'm like, might be? So, and yep, when you pick her up, you can actually feel the eggs under her. So that's really cool. Now, a little bit about bearded dragons. They are one of the friendliest friendliest reptiles out there. They are very docile and very lazy. They're actually from Australia. This is Miss Piggy, like I said. And then this one doesn't have a name yet. I just call her Kitty. She's got such a great personality. Now, as you can see, we got a lay bin in there for her, so she has plenty of area to dig up. And now these guys can lay, what is it, between, you know what, I will get back to you on that. I believe it's 30 to 40 eggs at a time, and they can do multiple clutches of eggs in the same pregnancy, but let me double check on that. You can see we got the hammocks in there for them. She has a shallow water dish, which you want something that she can lay into, but bearded dragons have this weird thing with deep water dishes. This is Miss Piggy's right here, just very shallow, and then she's got her food dish over there. We actually are soaking her food dish right now because she made a mess. She looked like she had lipstick on. You can also see that we got two different lights on the top of them. We have the UVB and basking bulb, and then we also have the long 4-foot UVB. Now these are both 40-gallon breeders. They're good sized tanks. And you may wonder, oh well, why does he have the outsides blocked off? Well, that's because we had originally a male in here, and we actually had the front of this closed off so that the male and female couldn't see each other. Yeah, she's just looking up. But you can see we got a little hide there for her. We have a branch with a piece of slate coming up. She has her little favorite cactus back there. And then we have the water dish, and then we also have a gauge back there showing what the humidity and everything. We don't have a humidity gauge in hers, but you can see we got a piece of slate there, we got a piece of rock, so she got something to hide into. What are you doing, Miss Piggy? Don't give me that face. Man, she is so food driven. Anytime I put tongs in there for her, she just attacks the tongs. It doesn't matter if there's food on it or not. She just goes crazy for it. But we can get into it here. They're known as beardies in the wild of Australia, and that's just because of their the flap of skin underneath of their chin. When they feel threatened or they're trying to attract a mate, they'll puff that way up. You can see that she's got a lot bigger one. Also, she's about a year older than Miss Piggy here. And then these guys, I love their little smile, especially when they get into like veggies and stuff like that. Oh my god, she makes such a mess. But that's why I also have paper towels in the bottom. Substrate for these guys, just there's a lot of controversy in the bearded dragon world as to whether or not you should use sand, and here's what my 2 cents are on that. You can use sand for bearded dragons, but when you go to feed them, I would recommend taking them out and feeding them outside of the sand, because if they ingest sand, they can get impacted and they can get really ill from it. Yeah, see, like, it's got such a personality. Also, paper towels. These enclosures get cleaned about once a week, and paper towels are just so much easier to clean up. Are you both watching? Yeah, if you guys can help me think of a name for her. She's about 2 years old. She's just a big snuggler. She loves to snuggle. She'll actually come up all the way up underneath your chin and just nuzzle right up next to you. It's it's crazy. Her, not so much. She's like a go-go stick, and she just goes and goes and goes and goes, and never likes to sit still. But yeah, drop a comment down below if you can help me come up with a name for her. Also, while we're at it, make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this channel. We're up to 55 subscribers, which is awesome for me. Just thinking that maybe like 5 months ago we were at like 10. So I know slow and steady, and we'll get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. But in the meantime, you know, I enjoy just putting out content for everybody to become more knowledgeable about. Now you may ask what these guys eat. It's pretty straightforward. These guys should actually be fed first thing in the morning, and that's, I feed them veggies in the morning, and I actually got a list here somewhere of the approved veggies that should be for them. Oh, here we go. They can eat dandelions, leafy greens, zucchini, romaine lettuce, carrots, beef tops, and squash. Now that's what you should feed them in the morning. Towards the middle of the day, you should also feed them crickets or dubias. She loves some superworms, hardcore. She goes to town over them. And actually, so did she. But superworms are high in protein, so you want to make sure that you're watching the intake. You want to also gut load all your insects, so and then as well as that, you also want to dust them with supplements. They need calcium, and then they also need vitamin D3. So that's very crucial when you're dusting their insects. I recommend dusting about every 2 to 3 weeks. Or not every 2 to 3 weeks. Every few days. So like maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Friday dust. They don't need it 100% of the time, but it is crucial for them to have, so that it helps with the development of their bones, and that way they don't get diseases or infections. These guys are semi-arboreal, so they do need places. She's really small. We actually just moved her from the enclosure up here down here to give her more space. She went through a shed and literally just like exploded and has like twice her body length. But we have little things for her to climb on and move around. That's also, we have the basking nets so they can just chill there. Now these guys shouldn't chill in the basking spot the entire time. They do need parts of the tank that are cold or cool, and then parts of the tank that are hot. They can grow anywhere from 15 to 20 inches in length. Miss Mama right here is probably maxing that. And that's from the base of their tail. It's incredible how quickly these guys can grow. And so most of these guys have a hard time. Most people prefer adults over babies, and that's just because babies can have, they can die in a sense a whole lot easier. Parents or adults are more forgiving when it comes to care, but juveniles are not. If something's slightly off, they could spiral and go downhill. Are you winking? What are you doing? She literally will watch me as I walk around the downstairs. It's creepy sometimes. But these guys can be handled quite often. But also remember that these guys can live 7 to 12 years. And I can't tell you how many bearded dragons that I see on the market, or people are rehoming because, oh, it was exciting when they were this big. And then like a month later, they're like, well, now it's boring. So then they give it a new home. And I'm not saying that's the case with everybody, but it just seems, if you're going to take on an animal like a bearded dragon or a chameleon or what have you, just make sure that you're in it for the long run of their entire life. That way you're not stressing them out, moving them from one home to another. Now, tank size for these guys, 4x2x2. A 40-gallon breeder is pretty much ideal. You could move them up to a 75-gallon tank, and that would be their forever home. I've seen some insane setups with people doing custom scapes and everything for bearded dragons. And who knows, we might make Mama here one with a paludarium that we're going to set up in the store. We'll see. But so back to the lighting and everything on these guys. The infrared or the UVBs, you need a UVB light and you need a basking light. The humidity needs to be between 30 and 40%, and you can achieve that very easily by misting the enclosure every other day. And they need a screen top so it's ventilated. Recommend glass enclosures, otherwise they're going to get their nails caught in screening, and it's going to be harder to achieve that humidity level. The basking area, so right underneath where they want to sit, you also want to make sure that's down so that they can't be exposed directly to it. It needs to be between 95 and 105 degrees. And then they need a cooling area, so a spot where they can go cool off, that needs to be about 80 degrees. She just turned her head to look at me. So cute. Excuse me. These guys do like to climb a lot, so you'll always see them running around the enclosure. You need to make sure that these guys don't overheat. So you need, if you see a bearded dragon sitting there and he's got his mouth wide open, and it's probably because he's overheating and there's not a cool spot in the tank for him, and you don't want that. Also, if your tanks get too hot, you could put like a mini fan or something in there to help circulate it and spread it out a lot more. They should have rocks and branches so that they can climb around, like we stated before. And then your UVB lights should be changed out every 6 to 12 months. I recommend every 6 months, or go out and get a UVB tester. They're about $200 online, which isn't terrible, and that'll tell you how much UVB that your light is putting out. Now, these guys are very active. Look, she's tilting her head at us. They're very, very active. Come on, camera, focus. So they are not arboreal. They like to, they're going to be awake and active during the daytime. So their lights need to be on for 12 hours and then off for 12 hours. That way they get their proper basking time, their proper cool down, and then they'll sleep like us at night. I don't recommend heating pads or heating rocks. Not so much heating pads. I mean, you have to be careful with heating pads, because if it's like this where there's no barrier between the lizard and the bottom of the glass, the lizards can get burned, and we don't want that. Like I said, calcium and supplements are very essential to keep them from getting metabolic bone disease. She had some issues when Miss Peggy did here. When we first got her, her joints were really stiff, and it was almost like she was paralyzed. She would walk around and like drag her legs, but she's come a long way, and she's just my little spaz now. Alright, so nextly, you do need to soak these guys a couple of times a week, and what you do with that is you just get a small tote like this one here, fill it a little bit toward the bottom, and then make sure that so if it's a big bearded dragon like her, you can leave it a little bit higher. You want to make sure that they can keep their neck out of it, but you want to do that 2 to 3 times a week. Helps them, in plain terms, helps them defecate, and also helps them with shedding. These guys just both went through sheds, and they can lose, if they don't get all their shed off, they can actually lose circulation in their nails. And we actually have a chameleon that when it came in, it had so many bad sheds, and it had lost most of its nails just because it loses circulation and then it just cuts off. So, which is really unfortunate. Oh, a big thing with bearded dragons is once you get one, that's it. Oh, what you looking at, huh? Oh, she saw me. She thinks it's feeding time again. Oh, but so yeah, once you get one bearded dragon, that's it. They do not do well together. They can become very tank aggressive if they have another mate in there with them, and unless you have like some stupid big enclosure where they'll never see each other, that might be different, but in something this size, you only want one. What are you doing, Miss Piggy? Huh? What are you doing? All kinds of personality. And their colors, you know, these guys vary in color from brown to red. Just it depends on what morph they are. And so she's a 0 morph over here, and so she actually has more white in her versus Miss Piggy right here. Yep, see, look, she thinks she's getting fed. But yeah, you want to make sure that you have a place for them to hide. I'm pretty sure we covered everything. We got the lighting, we got the water dish, we got humidity, temperatures, what these guys eat, what they need to climb on, places for them to hide again, what size tank, and how well they do together. We'll make sure to get some close-ups of her. She's really sweet. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Also check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Blue Dog Aquatics and Reptiles. We're also on TikTok, Twitter. We also have insanely new merchandise. And I will show you a picture right here. I will put the link in below. They are not going to last long. And they're of the captain from AquaShella. It's a really cool shirt. I can't wait for mine to come in. We got some on order. But if you enjoyed this video, drop us a comment, let us know. And thanks for watching, and as always, your tank or mine.